Hello there, family, friends, followers, and fellow crazed fish addicts. JLB Bassin out here at Table Rock again. We are at stop number 3 for the Ozark Division, and I think things are going to be popping. So we're in all 3 phases of the spawn right now. You got largemouth, smallmouth, and spots, and they're, depending upon where you're at in the lake, they're starting their push. There's fish up on beds. There's a lot of fish being caught at like that 8 to 10 foot range on beds, because we are clear. We're at full pool right now. The weather is beautiful. It's like 80 degrees. There's about an 8 to 10 mile an hour wind. Sunny skies. You couldn't ask for a more beautiful evening. Tomorrow calls for a low in the morning at launch of like 61, and then a high of like 81. But we're going to have clouds building throughout the morning and into the afternoon, so that should help, and we should get a little bit of wind that picks up throughout the day, so wind blown points and things should start to play. There's a lot of information on Table Rock going around right now about baits and what's catching, what's not. But one thing that is really important is there is a huge slime blossom. And what I mean by that is it's a very thin, fibrous, green aquatic weed that just coats everything. I'll try to get some video of it. And I guess up by Shell Knob and Kimberly Port, where I'm at right now, it's not so bad, but you get upriver in some areas and it can get really bad. But with the fish acting the way they are, with water temperature between like 60 and 67, 68, depending upon where you're at, the fish are going to be changing moods all day long. So it really should play into a different type of bite. I think they're over the crankbait bite from what I'm hearing. Most success now is coming on a single swim bait, like a 2.8 or a 3.25 swim bait with either a 1/8 ounce head or a 1/4 ounce head. 1/4 ounce is better for your deeper areas. If you're up shallow, you want that 1/8 head so that you can just run a little bit, shallower. But being that this is clear water, if you're fishing clear water, remember the fish spawn deeper, the smallmouth spawn deeper, your spots are going to be out on the points more. So if you're up shallow fishing for largemouth, I think that's going to play pretty good in the dirty water upriver. I think the cleaner water down here in kind of the center of the lake is going to be, it feels, I don't know, I got my foot thermometer on tonight. It feels like it's probably about 63, 64 here. I don't know, give or take 10 degrees. But for me, from the back of the boat again, I really had to rethink what I was doing. I was trying to fish like a boater from behind a boater. And with a lot of these places that we fish in, we're kind of in a carousel anyway. So it's not only me fishing behind my boater, but I might be fishing behind 5 or 10 or 15 or 28 boats like at the last tournament. So I had to really look at lure presentation, water column that I'm fishing, speed that I'm fishing, because that's really relative to however fast my boater's going on its trolling motor. So with the information that I'm gathering on the lake, it sounds like it's really going to play into my plan. I'm hearing that single swim bait's good, spinnerbait in the dirty water is pretty good, as long as it's smaller, 1/2 ounce or smaller, 3/8 ounce, something like that in your shad patterns. But everybody is talking about Ned rig, shaky head, and drop shot. Drop shot, especially in the areas with the slime that I talked about earlier. On those clean rocky points, like I'm down here just throwing a little bit tonight down around Kimberly Point before the off limits time. And, 6-inch zoom, shaky head trick worm, and I think this is a 1/8 ounce, maybe 1/16 ounce head. With the spawn, remember that your fish want stuff slowed down a little bit. Now, granted, there's going to be pre-spawn fish still, and if you're out on those points, you're out on those secondary points, you're not back in a cove, those moving baits will come into play. But those fish that are starting to lock onto beds, they're not going to be chasing. You know, they're going to be looking more towards protecting their nests, figuring out when they're going to, you know, whoop, whoop, and understand that that doesn't take days. It literally can take, well, like you and I, minutes, right? Conditions are right. Buck's up there, female's up there, things are good, her legs are loose, and bloop, 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 and suddenly you got baby bass, and now you're fishing for a buck on the guard rather than a female on the bed. So it's gonna be everly changing, but I think the shallow fish are gonna cooperate. I think it's gonna be a pretty heavyweight tournament. Kinda. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of traffic out on the lake this weekend. Kevin Van Dam, who I'm sure anybody watching is familiar with, if not Googling, he is like the Joe Montana, the John Elway, the Dan Marino of bass fishing. There is not a more winning person ever in history than Kevin Van Dam. So he has a big bass challenge out here this weekend. So there are guys out here fishing for $100 fish, literally. One fish, $100,000, biggest bass takes it all. And then, you know, second place at like 30 grand and third place at 15 is not bad either, you know. But on top of that, you got all the club guys that are out here. And with the KVD tournament, they're talking anywhere from 500 to 1,000 boats. So conservatively, we'll say 750. I mean, KVD is a big name. He gets a big draw. $100,000 is a lot of money. So 750 there, 220, 225 in my BFL. Couple hundred on local tournaments. You're looking at 12, 15, 1,700 boats on the lake, and there's only so many points and so many spawning pockets and so many secret brush piles. So no matter what you do, you're going to be fishing behind people. So patience is going to be a key. I think slowing down and really picking stuff apart, because I think there's going to be a lot of guys that are rushing through things, you know, looking for that big fish, which is great. But I think really like the shaky head, the Ned rig, really being able to dissect cover is going to be important. And I worked on that a lot this week. You know, with the boat being down, I couldn't necessarily get out on the water, but I got a local pond that's got a lot of laydowns, a lot of wood on rock, which is what we're going to be fishing here. And I got really comfortable with getting this little light line. I'm fishing this on a 10-pound leader. This is Seaguar Red. And I'm backing that with 12-pound, I think this is BBS Pro. Forgive me there, I don't necessarily remember. Owner shaky head. 4-aught hook. And I got really comfortable wrestling. You know, my biggest this week on this rod out of that timber was 413, so 4 pounds 13 ounces. And you know, no problems. The line is great. It's solid. You know, as long as I watch the abrasion, and I'm fishing it on an FG knot backed up with super glue. So it shouldn't slip. So I'm comfortable that I can pull anything under 10 pounds out with this rod, as long as it's not too tangled up. So that's what I got. You know, that's what the lake is doing. That's what the tournament's doing. It's going to be busy. It's going to be nice. We got clouds rolling in. It could get nasty in the afternoon, but otherwise we should have a beautiful morning, nice and warm, moderate to no wind in the protected coves. I got some topwater stuff that may come into play. Very little of that. Trying to tone the tackle down that I carry. But yeah, we're going to get it. We got a great room tonight at the, what's the resort we're at? This is the Kimberly Port Resort and Suites. They got cabins, camping, hotel rooms. They're decently priced. Beautiful room, king size. You know, got a couch, good TV, refrigerator. Seems safe. Lots of boats around. You know, so I think we're good there, and I'm excited. I'm definitely more excited to be back at Table Rock than I was to be down on the Arkansas the last time. So we'll see what happens in the meeting. We'll see what my boater draw is, and we're gonna go fishing. We're gonna catch them. I am coming across the scales with fish this time. So as I tell you all, I'm gonna take my own advice, and I'm just gonna keep fishing hard all day. Take care.